Right here on these high bluffs above the Hudson River on the New York side stood Fort Washington. As you can see, George Washington Bridge right behind me, a place once believed to be unbreakable. Strong walls, strategic position, confidence in defense. And yet, on November 16th, 1776, everything fell apart. The fort was overrun, thousands of soldiers were captured, plans collapsed, hope shattered in a single day, and maybe you know what that feels like too. The moment when you thought you were secure, everything was secure, suddenly it isn't. When the ground beneath you gives way, when something you trusted, a relationship, a job, a dream, a version of your life is taken without warning, and you're left trying to breathe throughout the shock. If that's you today, this message is meant for you. Hi, I'm Sheila, a certified stress management coach, here to help you stress less to find more peace so you can understand the deeper emotional landscape we all walk through. Let's take a breath together. We're gonna breathe in steadiness for 5. We're gonna hold for 5. Release the shock for 5. Again, we're gonna breathe in grounding for 5. Hold for 5. Release the fear for 5. Here at Fort Washington, I'm reminded that some of the most painful moments in life are the ones we never see coming. Let's explore 5 peace lessons from Fort Washington for the seasons when everything feels like it's collapsing. Peace lesson 1. When everything falls apart, it doesn't mean you failed. It means the old structure could no longer hold you. Fort Washington fell not because people didn't try, but because the conditions changed. And sometimes in life, what collapses is not punishment. It is a release from what could no longer support your growth. The loss hurts, the shock is real, but collapse does not equal failure. Peace tip. If something has recently fallen apart in your life, place your hand over your heart and say quietly, "This ending is not my failure. It's my release." Let your body feel the truth of that. Peace lesson 2. Shock freezes the nervous system. Before the heart can feel, when Fort Washington fell, the capture was sudden, overwhelming, disorienting, and shock does this to us too. It pauses our feeling, it suspends our processing, it locks painful, unprocessed, survival-based emotion in place. This is where emotions become stuck, not because we choose it, but because the body is trying to survive. Numbness, disbelief, trembling, feeling disconnected from your own life. Peace begins when you allow what was frozen to move again. Peace tip. If you feel numb or shut down, gently press your feet into the ground. Take one slow breath and softly name what you feel, even if it's just, "I feel nothing, I feel scared, I feel unsure." Naming begins the unfreezing. Peace lesson 3. Loss takes your freedom on the outside before it teaches you how to reclaim it on the inside. Thousands lost their physical freedom here. And when we experience collapse or loss, we often feel trapped too by fear, by grief, by uncertainty. Even when the outside world takes something from you, your inner world still holds the power of choice. That choice is the beginning of peace. Peace tip. Ask yourself today, what is one small choice I still get to make? It could be to rest, to speak kindly to yourself, to step outside, or to ask for help. Choose one. This is your freedom today. Peace lesson 4. You don't move forward immediately after loss. First, you breathe through what's been broken. After Fort Washington fell, there was no quick victory. There was retreat, disorientation, fear, uncertainty. Peace is not rushing yourself to get over it. Peace is allowing the breaking to be real without letting it define your future. Peace tip. If you've been pushing yourself to heal faster, give yourself permission today to pause. Say quietly, I am allowed to grieve at my own pace. Then take one slow, full breath without trying to fix anything. Peace lesson 5. When everything falls apart, a crossing is coming, even if you can't see it yet. Fort Washington felt like the end, but it wasn't, because just weeks later, Washington would lead his army across the Delaware River, a crossing born from devastation. Collapse is not the end. It is often the doorway. Peace tip. If your life feels like it is ending, place one hand over your chest and one on your belly and whisper, something new is being prepared. You don't need to know the path yet. You only need to keep breathing. Right here, where defeat once echoed, I'm reminded that peace is not found in pretending nothing was lost. Peace is found in learning how to breathe again after everything changes. You don't have to rush your healing. You don't have to minimize your loss, and you don't have to be strong before your heart is ready. Your job right now is to stay present, stay kind to yourself, and allow what has fallen to settle, because something new will rise. And next, I hope you'll join me for the video in this series, From Battlefield to Peace, where we move from collapse to forced retreat at Fort Lee, just right across from the Hudson here. If today's message spoke to you and you feel called to explore the emotion beneath the stress you've been carrying, I invite you to grab my free guide, 7 Steps to Discover the Emotion Behind Your Stress, and begin creating your own path back to peace. And if you're curious how stressed you really are, I also have a short test you can take for a quick snapshot of where you are right now on your journey back to calm, safety, and peace. If you love calm creativity that helps your mind unwind, you can explore my puzzle and coloring books on Amazon. If essential oils support your peace practice, check out Simply Earth. All the links are below in the description and pinned comment. In peace, and until next time. And again, before we end today, for my history enthusiasts, Fort Washington was the final Continental Army stronghold on Manhattan. On November 16th, 1776, British and Hessian forces launched a coordinated attack. After hours of fighting, nearly 3,000 American soldiers were captured. It became one of the largest single losses of American troops in the entire Revolutionary War. Just 4 days later, on November 20th, 1776, Washington ordered the evacuation of Fort Lee, New Jersey. That retreat began the long withdrawal across New Jersey that would eventually lead to the Delaware River crossing. On December 25th, 1776, at the victory at Trenton on December 26, 1776, what looked like the end of the Revolution became the beginning of its most daring phase. Fort Washington reminds us that even our greatest defeats can become the ground where courage is reborn. Let's have a quick look around. It's very busy here, and you can go down up underneath there to get to the little red, head down to the Hudson River, but it's very busy, and I'm not going to go down there alone. Again, the George Washington from this side. And in my next video, you'll see where we are at Fort Lee here. Some construction here. A police car makes me feel a little safer. Apartment complexes. We'll walk up this way a little bit. And that is not a job I'd like to be doing for sure. Here, again, along the Hudson. Here. The ivy and whatnot. All right, for right now, and this is where we came from, and you can see the hills, hopefully up over there, the rocks and the hills to get up there. So for now, I'm gonna say in peace, and until next time again,